What's up, man? How you doing, Kirk?
I'm doing good. How you been?
I'm doing blessed.
That's good. All right. Well, let's get right into it. The last time that we saw you in the ring, it was April of last year, and you were defending your middleweight title on Showtime. Now, a lot has changed since then. Your title was vacated, and you also actually became a father. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How have these changes impacted you as a fighter?
It just motivated me to another level and took me to another step of my life from where I want to be at.
That's good. Does fatherhood give you like an extra incentive to not only be better as a fighter but better as an overall person?
I think it gives me the benefit of want to be a better all-around person because now my best friend told me that um, the show of a man is going to be the way how he's going to raise kids. So, this is going to show how I want to conduct myself as a father and as a fighter.
Okay. Um, Now April 11th is when you fight Andy Lee for it can be argued what is essentially your WBO middleweight title. You will be coming off your second longest layoff of your career. Do you think this layoff will affect you in any kind of way? Do you think there'll be like ring rust, or do you actually think it's more of a positive thing for you to recover like physically and mentally from uh, the trials of boxing?
Yes, I think having that layoff gave me a break from, the madness, but also got my enough time to get my mind clear. And as well, layoffs is only bad when you like partying and doing damage to your body. And I don't live that kind of lifestyle. And I just feel like, it was a world unrest, and I think I just definitely deserved it, especially with becoming a father and just dealing with other family issues that I've been dealing with.
I see. Well, with the layoff, as you just said, like it can be bad if it's people are spending their time partying and doing negative things to their body. Like, were you training, like every now and then during this layoff, or?
Of course, that's my job to do that. So I was in the gym, me and my friend, my best friend, we stayed dedicated to spin classes and, play some ball, got together, play ball, and, got into the boxing gym as much as possible as I can. You know, so that was majority it. And then trying to, on top of that, eat very good.
So you're like an old school fighter and just being in shape year round.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
I think we could have did a lot more to stay in shape. I've been feeling a little bit robbed of certain things. I gave up that belt. I started to see people around me act different. So, so I had to like, find a set of motivation inside myself to still go to the gym and want to be there because, people was always asking me the same question, why am I vacate? Never was asking me, congratulations on your kid, or they never was saying, is your uncle, I heard your uncle had cancer, is he okay? You know what I'm saying? I didn't get those type of things. I didn't get, why did you do it? And I keep saying the same stuff over and over again, and people seem like they really hurt.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. It seems like people don't see like what's going on behind the scenes with the fighter. There's a lot to it, preparing yourself and getting ready, just to even fight and do your job. But you have other things that take place.
Yeah. I've learned that it's not those people's job to care.
It's true. Okay, well, in regards to your fight with Andy Lee, I think critics can say on both ends that it's a big fight for both fighters. I think it's arguably his biggest test, or I would say it's his biggest test, and it's arguably your biggest test as a fighter, and it has serious implications in the middleweight division. What are your impressions of Andy Lee?
And he's a champion, so I'm gonna give him that respect. But in terms of him being my biggest fight, I didn't have some pretty good, with Hassan Nadam being like one of my guys on my record. I could just say, by far that was one of my hardest fights. You know what I mean? Because I had to, go in there and break him down over and over again and watch the guy over and over get back up.
Right.
But in terms of like fighting wise, this, Andy Lee is just another fight, different guy, and we haven't got in there to see what the chemistry is going to be. So that's what we're going to be glued into the system. And, our fans going to be glued into the system and watch the fight only for that reason. He brings a lot to the fight, and I bring a lot. And we're going to make them collide, and that's man is going to win.
Well, with Lee, as we all know, he is a world class fighter, a former Olympian, and like from what we can see, he has good power. He's also a southpaw. What do you think is his biggest strength?
Losing those two fights, it seemed like he found some different motivation to want to win. Became a champion after losing 2 times. So I think that's his greatest strength right there, that he lost and he prevailed over those losses, came back stronger. So we know he's a crafty guy, and we know he's going to be very determined. And we got some history with some of the guys that I have on my record that he fought, and him fighting that Simon down as a amateur. You know what I'm saying? So we got some history with each other, and like I said, the chemistry is gonna make the fight. What it is.
Well, you mentioned his 2 losses, and they were by stoppage. Do you think you can exploit his chin like with your punching power?
Well, I think if it does, it's just gonna come out that way. I'm not gonna force it, so I'm gonna let it come out naturally. And I prove in a lot of fights that I can be a knockout fighter, also can be a boxer. So we just wanna see what game plan is gonna come together in that ring.
Okay. You also just mentioned his strength of being able to bounce back from those losses. Going into this fight, what do you think is your biggest strength? Is it like this newfound fatherhood, the motivation of fighting for your child, or is it the motivation from some of the critics and some of the fans who have kind of dished you and had some criticism over you to like prove them wrong?
Criticism is. If I care about the criticism, then I'll be like a slave towards a person's opinion about who I am. I know who I am. I stand firm in my beliefs. So I'm never going to be like sidetracked by that. As far as motivation, I motivated that, do the right thing with the money I'm going to be able to make in my future right now with boxing to make sure I can secure my son's legacy on his own, by giving him a little boost and a little help with like setting up financial aspects of his life that I never was able to have. I think that's how you break the chain in your family is you do things that was different from me that were done to you. So, I grew up struggling now when my son's struggling, so I'm gonna make sure everything in my power that he don't have the same kind of life that I had. So that motivates me a lot. And I've seen my uncle Pat, fighting with cancer. He lost the fight, but that's a real fight to have on your hands. Is putting it in your mind if you're gonna live or not. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen him inspired to live, and I've seen him want to accomplish so many things, but only a short amount of time to do it. And unfortunately, he didn't get to make it there. Do some of the things I heard him talk about, but I just know that he fought to the end. And when you got cancer, you never prepared to get the news that you got cancer. Opposed to this fight, I got the news that I want to fight Andy Lee, and I had time to train and prepare and do all the things that my uncle didn't get to do when he was fighting cancer. So I got a lot of different things. I want people to look at me as a different kind of fighter, and as a different type of man. And grew up in my shoes now, and I'm just inspired.
Now, this fight is going to be in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, where you do have a huge following, and it's going to be a part of the PBC on NBC. Can you talk about this event and the excitement behind that, like the positive aspects of that?
Well, it's a new league of boxing thanks to Al Heyman, for people to be able to watch it, get free fights, good fights with that exposure. So, you can only expect big things from, my side, but as well for the company and PPC. And, the exposure on NBC is like worldly-wide exposure. You know what I'm saying? So, like, my wife is a producer for the Today Show. So, like, she worked in the same, works for the same company, NBC. So, she she works at NBC Universal, so it's like, for me, that like need a girl in a boxing gym, marry her, have a kid by her, and then she was a producer, and now to be getting exposure on her network, brings a lot of light to our lives, and I'm just very blessed to be able to, put my story out there in front of the world to be able to see it.
That's cool. Yeah, that's real cool how life works out like that.
Yeah, man. Small world.
Yeah, definitely. Well, being that the fight is in Brooklyn and it's for the title and it's on cable and everything, I think with the stage that you're on, many people can look at you as an ambassador of boxing, especially being as you do have a great story as well.
Yeah, and I want the kids to be able to be inspired to be able to reach their dream. Don't be scared because it's easy to be a failure in life. That's the easiest thing to do because you just don't have to do anything. You just get up every morning and just live the same routine and never get nowhere. But when you want to get somewhere in life, you just got to sacrifice and push through the moments in life where it can be hard, but I think through those hard parts, you overcoming them is always a reward at the end, and I just want to be a testament to that.
Do you feel, because of the stage that it's on, do you feel any kind of additional pressure to perform well?
No. I got my friends and my family to go home to, so, as long as I got them and, I keep focused on them, the pressure can never break somebody, pressure break pipes.
Right. Okay, now we did touch on this a little bit earlier, how some of the fans and such were critical of you, like with vacating the title, opponent selection, and things of that nature. But a lot of fans may not understand like the business and politics of boxing, so they may say things without having full.
Are these fans of boxing or are they fans of other fighters? What fans are we talking about? I mean, because my fans support. You know what I'm saying? They give me undying support for whatever decisions I make, and I'm thankful for those fans, and I focus on nothing but the positive aspect of my life, and I worry about those who worry about me. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like a mutual kind of respect that I get from people that respect what I do. It's easy to be somebody that stand outside and watch somebody do something, opposed to you being in there doing it yourself.
Right.
So, we see what we do or do what we see, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a straight doer. I do this. This is my life. So, as far as people's opinion, to me, they're just like a butthole. Everybody got one of those.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, do you feel like there can be a double standard, like when it comes to boxing with certain fighters? Like, for example, there's a lot of like black fighters or a lot of Cuban fighters, like Arizeni Laura or Rigondeaux. They get criticized for their style, but like some of the other guys may try and implement the same style, but they won't get criticized, or like you'll hear them calling a bunch of people out, but they never really get recognized for doing such. Or like a Mayweather will get criticized for fighting a certain person. Like if he were to fight a Chris Algieri, he'd get crucified, but other guys can do that. Like, do you feel like there's a double standard, like with boxing?
Well, I mean, if you getting criticized, period, you getting some type of credit because they watching you. So it's like, I mean, they only going to criticize what they think, is wrong with a person. For me, I don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that get criticized about what they do, they just need to keep doing what they're doing. And, you can always be somebody different, but the hardest part is staying true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And, using the tools, you can never reach another person of greatness trying to be them. You know what I'm saying? But if you take the tools that God given you and make it work for yourself, you can be creating your own self. So that's what I focus on.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, like what are your goals for this year? Like, do you want unification within the division?
I want to buy 14 houses in my own time. That's
cool.
What I really want to do. That's all I want to do. I own one of them right now. I'm going to own 13. I got 13 more to go.
Okay.
That's one of my goals I made for this year. But I want to let a houses in my hometown. I started a retirement plan for myself. So when I'm done with boxing, I have something to bring back home. I also started a education plan for my son, so I'm going to get that invested in, and that's one of my goals is just keep building on what I invested in.
That's admirable. Well, with that, do you think that you're gonna have? Do you think you'll have to have like the bigger names in order to like secure like bigger paydays so that you can implement that plan, or do you have like a plan for doing that in regards to like the opponents you fight this year, or any
Other
business?
big names out there. Two other big names out there, and that's Janeda Golovkin and Miguel Cotto. That's the only two bigger names that be doing now in boxing in my weight class. Right?
Right.
Right. So basically I would have to fight them to be able to get the bigger names, correct?
That's right.
Right. Would they have to fight me to be able to have the bigger names on their record as well?
Yeah.
Right. So then all around what I'm trying to say is like the politics of boxing stop a lot of stuff.
Right.
Unfortunately. But, do I want to be a participant in that? No. Of course I won't want to fight the big fight. But this is a business for a lot of people. This is how people go to work. I mean, not just me for myself, but like the networks and all this, and they put things together. And Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather right now are the biggest fight right now to date in the century of the fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what I think is, when money is so big behind a certain fight that it can never be denied, that's when the fight usually happens. You know what I'm saying? So, I've been going back and forth about fighting those guys, but sometimes, before I even became the champion of the world, I was calling out Sergio Martinez and people thought I was crazy.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But then they don't know that I was calling out Jermaine Taylor, I called out Felix Stein, I called out the biggest names in boxing when I was up and coming. My voice was still unheard. So now that I'm where I'm at right now, and I'm still calling out the names, sometimes it's just about what I learned. The most important thing about life is patience. You know what I'm saying? I can say all this stuff and make a big roar, but it's gonna happen when it's time. Timing is the only luxury in life. When it's that time will never be denied.
Right. Okay. Well, basically, like with the landscape for the middleweight division is yourself, Gennady Golovkin, and Miguel Cotto. Um, with that being said, I know the politics, like as you just mentioned, play a part with what fights happen. In regards to the whole PBC on NBC franchise thing, do you see yourself as like a main staple for that network, or do you think you'll be gravitating towards like Showtime pay-per-view, or will you do both, or is it just a matter of
Whatever Al Heyman says.
right?
He made this possible. He made PBC. PBC now, did you know that the first number of fights, they got 4.2 million people watch that fight with Keith Thurman and Robert Guerrero.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the only difference is you got to have people willing to pay for your fight, right? When you're Mayweather, who people want to watch that fight and pay whatever, $75 to $100 pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? To reach 3 million people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, on another hand, I'm getting paid some money at the amount to be seen amongst, more than 4 or 5 million people.
Right.
We got a good reach to be able to do it. We make a legacy as far as, boxing hasn't been on a free network like this in over 30 years. As you can see, PBC is reaching everywhere, Spike TV, NBC, CBS, all these things, ESPN, it's a takeover. So everybody's going to want to come on the side of the fence and play ball because this is where the money's going to be at. And this is where the exposure you're gonna really want to be at. You know what I'm saying? This is the exposure that you're not gonna be able to be able to get. So what I'm doing is staying focused on fights that's on my hand, and then whatever how I even have fun.
Okay, I think now more than ever it's important to like have a to establish your brand as a fighter. If you could, what is your brand as a fighter? Like, what is it about you that stands out from other fighters?
Pink Kid Chocolate, I wear smiley face. Many other fighters are doing that. I stand for a certain message, fight for humanity, fight for the kids, fight for Africa, fight for Cuba, fight for Americans that struggle in this country, fight for all the reasons that I do, all the good reasons that I do. My story is different because as a champion, when I was the champion of the world, I basically got my GED as a champion to let kids know that education is a big part of separating yourself from everybody else. You know, and so I'm a God-fearing guy, you know what I'm saying? I think that the things I'm going to be able to get to do is going to be bigger than boxing. I already did a movie. Miles Teller, one of the, you know, was an Emmy award-winning, where he was up for, was an Emmy about the movies, right?
Right.
Yeah, he was up for an Emmy with the movie Whiplash, so. So it's like a lot of things I get to do, man, that I'm thankful. And boxing is in the root of all these things for me. So, as far as that, I'm just stay focused and continue to be thankful for my blessings that God is able to let me receive.
Now, I hear you're are you filming another movie?
Well, I just filmed one movie. I filmed the movie, Leave for This. It's a story about Vinny Paz. I'm playing Roger Mayweather in the movie, but I'm pretty sure with I just got a call from somebody who seen the movie yesterday or seen something about the movie and said that I did a very good job. And from what I heard, I got a lot of good response from all the production team, the director, and everything. And I'm more likely I want to get booked for more different jobs. So, but right now I'm focused on boxing though, so I don't want to lose sight of that and trying to jump into one thing while I'm doing one thing. So boxing is my focus right now, and when it's time to get into the acting in the movies, then I think I'm gonna be prepped and ready for it.
Right. So like once your career is over, potentially you can be an actor, a la Marvin Hagler once he retired from boxing.
Yes.
That's what's up. Can you give me a prediction for your fight? Do you think it's gonna go? I mean, I know it's all built on, chemistry and whatnot, but do you think it may go by decision, KO? Do you have any like a gut feeling?
I'm prepared to give him a knockout. I'm prepared to go to a round.
All right. Well, I know you are busy, so I'm gonna let you do what you got to do. Before you go, though, aside from your fight, we do have a few other big fights that are coming up. I wanted to get your impression on the Danny Garcia and Lamont Peterson fight, if you have a prediction for that one.
I think it's a very good fight. I like both of those guys. They're both personal friends of mine. And me saying that, I think the best man is going to win in that fight, and whoever that is, my hat will be tipped off to that person.
That's what's up. And, I had to ask you about the Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight. Do you have a prediction for that one? Is there anyone you're rooting for in particular?
Mayweather is the best pugilist in the world, best purest boxer in the world right now. And a lot of people will consider Manny Pacquiao the best fighter in the world. You know what I'm saying? So two fighters like this colliding is only these things can happen. Floyd Mayweather is my personal favorite, only because he's from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Right.
He's living up to the highest level I ever got to see somebody from my city live on. So I'm excited with him. But my personal thing don't even matter in this fight. It's about the best man.
Right. Okay. Well, Is there anything that you want to say to the fans? Is there I know you have a Twitter, Instagram, you have your own YouTube channel. Is there can you plug in where they can reach you and contact you, follow you?
Yeah, my fans can get me at Kid Chocolate on Twitter, also as well as on Instagram at Kid Chocolate. I got a website, www.kidchocolate.com, and also my YouTube channel, www.kidchocolate.tv. You can also give me on Facebook, Kid Chocolate KO. But I think it's all spelled all together, Kid Chocolate. So get me on Facebook, get me on there, and I'm very thankful to be able to, get me an interview with you right now to get the latest and greatest on me. I'm very thankful. So thank God for just the opportunities He's been allowing me to have and all the blessings He allowed me to share with my friends and family.
I can definitely say, thank you for taking the time. I know you're very busy and you have a lot going on, but I want to say thank you for giving us the time. Good luck with your fight. We're going to be watching you. Congratulations again on your son, and my condolences for your uncle. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Man, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, Peter. Well, you have a great rest of your day, and like I said, man, good luck with your fight.
All right, thank you. God bless.
God bless you too.